Dialogue. Truthful dialogue.
Peace and civility. I am Jay Louie. This is Fruitful Thought, Food for Thought, Food for the Soul. Today we have an admirable guest. He is a student minister of the Nation of Islam under the tutelage of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is a son of the Nation of Islam's eternal leader, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Mother Tanetta Muhammad. He is an accomplished musician and vocalist, a singer, a writer, a pianist, and performer. Here is a humanitarian of love, bringing unconditional love from the ministry of love, Brother Rasul Muhammad.
That's a lot of love, man.
You deserve it, brother. You deserve
I
it.
am honored to be with you, dear brother, and more specifically, feeling your vibe and feeling your spirit. Yesterday, as we were together in Mosque number 7C in Brooklyn, I was very honored to meet you, and I didn't know till you showed up this morning that it would be with you that I was doing this interview. So I want you to be comfortable, to ask me whatever is on your mind, on your heart, that might help give clarity, understanding, and maybe even further our collective study of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and of course, your viewing and listening audience.
Well, first I'd like to start off with what I call fruitful scriptural, when I, delve into the scriptures. In the first book of John, chapter 3, verse 14, it was written, "We know that we have passed from death unto life, because we love the brethren. We that loveth not his brother abideth in death." So brother to brother, how would you express brotherly love?
There's a word that I think is an absolute key component to this word, love. And before I say that, let me say the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, my teacher, said to me before I came here from Chicago to New York on this stay, on this visit, he said, "Rasul, love is a verb. It denotes action. And so we cannot say we love each other if we're not proactive. Love is better demonstrated than stated." So the key word that I'm discovering about love that's missing in most of our interpersonal relationships as brothers, as sisters, as family, as marriages, is care. C-A-R-E fundamentally means to trouble oneself. And at the core of the quality of our love for one another that should be there, and I fear is not there as it should be, is that we don't care. We don't care to trouble ourselves for one another.
Amen.
All of us are in an imperfect state in our growth course in life. So to be involved with each other as a brotherhood, as a sisterhood, as a family, as a group, as a community, means that we're going to have to trouble ourselves just to be involved with each other.
Speaking of care, I've heard you speak of unconditional love.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on unconditional love? How can we express unconditional love? What does unconditional love feel like?
I like the way you pose that question. You know, we are taught from both the Bible and Holy Quran that, well, in the scriptures, judge not lest ye be judged. When we operate with the kind of love that we generally operate with, it comes with so many conditions. And those conditions are based and rooted in a judgment that we make on each other. And it's basically espoused by our egos. In other words, are you worthy of what I can give you? And if you don't seem worthy of what I can give you, then I withhold what I'm capable of rendering. This is conditional, so-called love, which I think is the most common amongst us. However, unconditional love is, it does not matter if you are worthy in my eyes or not. What matters most is that you need it. So the scripture says, he looked past my faults and saw my needs. To love your brother and love your sister as you love yourself, to love your brother, to love your sister means to not judge them. It means to look past their faults and see their needs. And there is not a human being with a problem that love cannot answer, solve, and heal. My mother Tainetta Muhammad, told me and has shared with many that one day the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to her that music, color, medicine is the essence of the true religion of Allah. Well, I understood, at least to my limited degree, the music and the color part. But I wondered for a while, what is the medicine? So first, we have to define what is medicine. Medicine is the substance or substances used to treat illness. What is the greatest medicine or substance in the entire cosmic universe used to treat illnesses, particularly the human illness? It's love. So love is the missing medicine with all of us as a people, regardless of our creed, class, race, or color. Love is not just for some, love is for all. Love is for all. And all of us not only must avail ourselves for that love, but all of us need that love. And all of us are capable of channeling God's love. Absolutely.
I hear you. Unless we're Martians, of course, Earth is our place of birth. Would you agree that we need more love for the human family of the planet Earth?
Absolutely. I like the way Stevie Wonder put it back in the 70s. Love's in need of love today. Don't delay. Send yours in right away.
If we're righteous by nature, which is what we're taught, are we loving by nature? What is the nature of love and righteousness?
I like that question. I like all your questions. You're pretty good, man.
I try. All praises to Allah.
You ain't got to try too hard, especially when it comes from the heart. The Bible says God is love. And in mathematical language, that's the same as saying God equals love. And it would work the same way if you said love equals God. Now, if God made us in his own image and likeness, then we are love. Righteousness only describes the behavior of us that in righteousness we do everything right and exact. The problem, I think, this is my humble opinion, the problem with us today is that we try and intellectualize the solution to the human problem. I do not believe that the solution to the human problem is an intellectual one. I believe that the solution to the human problem is a loving one. And if we would just allow love to flow through us, because it's already in every aspect of God's creation. Love is in a blade of grass. It's in the gnat, the flea, the microbe. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that love is the building blocks of his creation. The entire universe is based and built on love.
Based and built on love.
So the verb, the action aspect of love has to become every time the human being expresses himself. Love to one another, love in the forest, love in the jungle, love on the mountaintop, love at the foot of the hills, love to the plants, love in our speech. I found it very interesting that in the science of communications, only 38% of communication is words. But the predominant percentage of communication is sound. Sound. 53% of communication is sound. And that's where love expresses itself best. Because any of us with a corrupt satanic slant in our thinking can use the words. And sometimes you can trick, persuade, manipulate, but the sound doesn't lie. So the more sensitive that we become, you'll be able to know when people are lying, even if you don't have all the facts or full data in your mind. But just by the sound of a lie to the sensitive ear is like for a musician when a chord or tone is out of key.
In love, I would assume that we all want peace of mind and the pursuit of happiness. What is the correlation between love, peace, and happiness?
Again, love is the principal and most important part of it all. I should say, it's the essence out of which you get peace. Now, I know that it's more politically correct to say no justice, no peace. So we say that if there is no justice, there can't be peace, and peace is the product of justice. But if justice is to be established in the land and amongst the people, it has to spring from love. Because in fact, love is the highest form of justice. So that's where your correlationship is, but the base, the foundation, has to be love.
Base and foundation.
Yes, because law is not love. And this is the problem that we're having. We have law enforcement in the streets called the police. We have law enforcement in the church. We have security. We have deacons. We have law enforcement in the mosque. Captains and lieutenants and squad leaders. And the expression of most officials is generally with people, law. Law and order. And that's the psychology. We think law, order, but we seldom ever see peace. So where does it come from? It comes from love. And so where we establish peace, there has to be the foundation of love. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, love means freedom, justice, and equality.
Love means freedom, justice, and equality.
And what that means is we have to first create an atmosphere for peace to thrive, peace to survive, peace to live. And so to establish such an atmosphere, there has to be love for the whole entirety of creation. Ultimately, brother, once we mature out of the color spectrum meaning black man God, once we mature out of a nationalistic thinking, once we mature out of just a Pan-Africanist concept, once we mature out of an Afrocentric concept, which is geographically based, we have to ask the Creator to expand for us our breast. And one of the things that I see that ties to the statement of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that music, color, and medicine is the essence of the true religion of God, music is one of the greatest and most essential, critical means by which God expands the human breast. Let me give you real quick proof. When we're listening to music, we don't care what color the singer is. We don't care where they're from, or if it was recorded in London, England, or in New York, or in Los Angeles, or in China, Beijing. Because music has a law that is so high that you can't bound it to an ethnicity, a nationality, a color, or a creed. And that's where ultimately the human being has to mature. And music is one of those means. Because once you get into the world of music, color, creed, race, ethnicity, all of those things seem to stop at the door. So for us to comprehend and grow into more, we've got to ask God, the Creator, to expand for us our breast so that we can accommodate more and evolve further. That's the key. And you have made, you just said it in the scriptures, you've crossed from death over into life. Because you what? Love. You love the brotherhood. You love the brotherhood. The brotherhood are not just everybody that wears a bow tie or everybody that, looks a certain kind of way. In the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have a great lesson in the theology of time when he talks about a God, a scientist that existed 66 trillion years ago who wanted everyone to speak the same dialect. Think over this. And became horrifically dissatisfied when he couldn't get everyone to speak the same dialect. And so he attempted a form of suicide by trying to destroy everything, but only managed to blow off a third of the planet, which we call the moon today. The lesson for that is, I can't make you like me. Say he, Allah, is one God, the Quran says. Allah is he upon whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He neither begets, nor is he begotten, and there is none like him. That's not just describing God. That's describing everything he created. It is unique. You are unique to me. I'm unique to you. Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we try and impose systems that try and make everybody the same on any level, we are suppressing the true identity and the unique value of each and every human being. So again, love means freedom, justice, and equality.
I agree with you on that. Totally agree. You speak of God expanding our breasts, opening our hearts. As a young man, I tend to be a sucker for love. There's an old song that would go, "Why do fools fall in love?" So what does it mean to fall in love? And how does one discern between lust and love?
Well, first of all, I would say intellectually and spiritually, depending on where you are in your growth course, you don't fall in love. If love is God, you don't fall in God, you grow. So this is a satanic concept, to fall in love. The proper view is we grow in love. And so a fool doesn't grow. A fool, they say, is one who is insane in his habitual practice. That's why they say a wise man changes and a fool stays the same. So there's no growth there, because a fool is experiencing intellectual and spiritual death. So he's not growing. So that kind of fool will fall in the illusion of love. But when you're alive, you don't fall in love, you grow in love. Because love and life and God and self are all synonymous terms. You don't have love without life. You don't have life without love. You don't have God without love. You don't have love without God. And you don't have yourself. I'm glad that we agree.
You're making valid points, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
This is the ministry of love. It's the final question I have for you.
Yes, sir.
To what degree do you feel love motivates and fuels you to do what you do in the way that you do?
I'm loving the question, because it's making me to reflect. And I think that the aim in all dialogue should be to agitate thinking and cause each other to reflect. And there's nothing better that we can reflect on than our life experience. I fell into a very bad state in my life. Mentally, spiritually, physically. My health reflected it, with various challenges. And I got to the point where I didn't want to live. I literally did not want to live. And the thing that began to revive me mentally and spiritually, after I got to the point of actually deciding to take my own life, was the idea that God loves me individually. And because that was the light in my darkness, because that became the life in my suicidal thoughts, it made me, I think, appropriate for the ministry of love. And in this ministry, I cannot give any more than I've received. And I'm alive and I'm breathing today, still with the challenges of life's every day. But love is why I'm still breathing. Love is why God is using me. So I'm empowered to administer love because it's what's surviving or keeping, maintaining, and sustaining my life. Love is why I'm here. And love is what I'm able, by the grace and mercy of God, to give. And I'm hoping to inspire everyone to do the same. You know that part of the scriptures with Philip traveling with Jesus. And he asks the master, when will we see God? And Jesus says, have I not been with you all this while? Now, if you interchange the term God with love, and now you've got the condition of many black people, many human beings, period, regardless of our religious beliefs. When will we be loved? When will we find love? And if love could talk, it would probably say like Jesus, have I not been with you all this while? And what is meant by that? You were surrounded by love. Love just does not always express itself the way we expect it to. You see? Our expectations often emanate from an inflated ego. And if we can learn to be more humble and more grateful for what we've got, then maybe we could be like that Bedouin Arab when asking Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. He said, I want to be of the happiest of men. And the Prophet reportedly said to him, be content, and you will be of the happiest of men. And then the Bedouin Arab reportedly asked the Prophet, said, I want to be of the most honorable of men. And the Prophet said, if you do not complain to any creature, you will be of the most honorable of men. And so in my suffering in life, I've learned to not complain. Even when I was at death's door, and I'm still not out of the woods now. Excuse me. I'm still not out of the woods now, but I have hope. Hope is expectancy. And I'm finding greater hope in withholding complaints. And now the prophet said, do not complain to any creature. That means not even to the gnat. Because even the gnat and the flea have life challenges. But Allah lays not on any soul a burden beyond its scope. So, if I may say, in street wisdom, I'm all right. I'm all right, man. And we are going to be all right if we will just bear the natural burden that Allah has given each and every one of us without complaining, without getting a negative attitude. Allah will bring us through the storm He always intended to. But the trial is how you're going to act if it takes an extra day to come through the storm. Or if you got to struggle a little longer. Or if you got to be poor a little longer. Don't get angry at God. He is the giver of your life and the cause of your death. And nothing happens without His permission. So,
Beloved Rasul.
yes, sir. No, I was just going to say that I love your spirit, brother.
I love your spirit too.
And I really enjoyed this interview. And I pray that Allah will bless you. I don't know how far you intend to go, you and your staff, those that you work with, to produce these clips, these interviews. I saw the one you did with Sister Student Minister Ava Muhammad, whom I love and respect, admire dearly. Yeah, but I enjoyed the interview. You know, I think you all conducted it with such great dignity, respect, intelligence. And I pray that Allah will bless you.
I pray Allah bless you too, sir.
Very, very, very much. And I thank you. Thank you for considering me to do an interview. So thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Is there any way that people may be able to keep up and follow up with you via the internet?
I appreciate that. I have a website, www.rasulonline.com.
www.rasulonline.com. RASUL online.com.
There you go. And you can be informed on what I'm doing. I have a book coming out next month at Savior's Day called States of Consciousness.
States of Consciousness. Sounds deep.
I think so. And of course, I have a new album out, and there's 2 albums I have out already on the different, websites and whatnot. And, just Google in or put in the search for Rasul. The latest album is Rasul, the man, the message, the music. And there's a lot of songs. My favorite, of course, is in honor of my mom, Mother Tainetta Muhammad. And just called I'm Following Your Light. And that probably is a whole other topic that if you find me worthy, we can discuss it in the future.
Well, Muhammad means praise much and worthy of praise.
Oh, man, you on it.
So there you have it. Bless you to the humanitarian of love, bringing unconditional love from the ministry of love, Brother Rasul Muhammad. Thank you.
Thank you. May Allah bless you.
May Allah bless you too.
Dialogue. Truthful dialogue. Dialogue. Truthful dialogue.